4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years. Such is the allegation, and it's the best calculation up with which I can come. 4 more years. Just 4 more years. You see, fellow passengers on planet Earth, I've been paying attention, and since, by the grace of the Gaia hypothesis, the Bat Eater's Lament virus has come out of Wuhan in China mainland and travelled the world on jet airliners, surfing the wave of the tourist industry. Since then, in 2020, 8 months. Talking to various business men, members of the Chamber of Commerce's business as usual lobby, in fact, we come to the communal conclusion that economic activity across the planet is down something on the order of 16% over 8 months. All things considered. More coal to feed the grid, to run the computers for people to have Zoom conferences, less buses, less trains, less planes, less automobiles, less transport fuel emissions. Less transport fuel means less cargo, which means less logistical availability of critical just-in-time spares, which causes everything to slow down. And then there's the social distancing, which means that anything that's based on face-to-face throbbing crowds, good vibes, feelings, isn't it lovely to all get out of wherever it is that you live and you don't want to spend any time, those businesses, they're not very busy, those businesses. So 16% over 8 months, 2% a month. The international and domestic trading economy of the global vile age has steadily, gently, progressively contracted by 2% a month for 8 months. If it continues at this level, 4 more years, 4 more years, 4 more years, and there won't be any fucking global vile age. There won't be any industrial planetary scale emissions of fossil carbon into the atmosphere. There won't be any logging, let alone overlogging. That's just if SARS-CoV-2 remains at loose, because, as we know, the Honkinese have come up with patients who have been proved to have recovered from COVID-19, and then 4 months down the track they succumb to another bout of COVID-19, but it's a very sort of slightly different genetic variant. It's not the original one that came straight out of Wuhan, it's one that came in from America. They're getting pretty good, these geneticists, virologists, epidemiologists. They're able to say that pretty much one security quarantine hotel lapse in Melbourne, Victoria, caused all of the cases in Victoria. Maybe 90%, and one other one somewhere else caused 10%. They're really good at figuring out whose virus is related to who else's virus. But then on top of that, global warming isn't going away. Increasingly frequent, increasingly intense extreme weather events that are record-breaking, they're not going away. California has just beseeched Australia to send them some firefighters to help with their record-breaking wildfires, in their record-breaking drought, with their record-breaking heatwave. And we're sending them 55 incident controllers, like operational teams, people who can just walk into their command and control centre and give the poor buggers a break. And we have to do that no matter what the bloody difficulty involved in quarantines and all the rest of it, because in the coming summer, we are hoping and expecting to get all the large air tankers that we think they're not going to want, and we're going to start wanting them in 3 months, and they're not going to stop wanting them for about 5 months. So if we don't send them any firefighters to help with California, they won't be in a mood to try and send us any large air tankers, let alone the odd volunteer strike team of firefighters who, you know, get on a plane at their own expense and come out here for the fun of being a volunteer firefighter in Australia, because, you know, like our fireys don't get paid. We do it for the fun of it, literally, for the esprit de corps, for the joie de vivre, for the danger of coming out of it not dead. Anyway, it has to be done. But yeah, we're going into a fire season here in Australia. We're hoping to get American assets. Therefore, we're sending Australian assets into the global pandemic hotspot of COVID-19, because we hope they're going to come and help us later. Presumably, their firefighters will show up 2 weeks before our firefighting season starts, so they can go into quarantine before we let them out. All that presumes that the economy continues to function to the point where those sort of services are still available. But anyway, if we continue on for another 4 years, 48 months at 2% contraction per month, and we've already come down 16%, then yeah, 4 more years and there won't be any global vile age. Truly. Just in case it seems like I got my hand on it too hard, I'm pretty sure there's not one but two giant super economy size, never been seen before in the market type hurricanes heading up the Mexican Gulf towards, is it New Orleans and Houston? Maybe one's hitting there and one's headed for Florida. But yeah, the extreme weather effects of global warming are not going to go away. As I breathe in, 417 parts per million of carbon dioxide in the air I'm sucking in. I'm 59 years old. In 1961, that was 317 parts per million. 317 in 1961, and nobody fucking did anything about it, because you have to grow the economy. You have to grow the economy so that you can tax the working population, so you can fund the military in order to run the Cold War, to build the atom bomb. So that, you know, it's got to happen. You've got to grow the economy. Got to be ready for the next war. Okay. The reason we should have done something when I was born is because the normal range for the past 3 million years is somewhere between 180 and 280 parts per million CO2 of the atmosphere. And when I was born, it was already 317. It is now 417. Humanity, in the vernacular, in the jargon, has fucked the goose. Don't know about golden egg, but just the goose that made an egg you could turn into an omelette. We've fucked that goose. We have crashed the ecology of the biosphere, and it's the only fucking biosphere known to exist in the observable universe. Every time humanity has attempted to set up a closed circuit miniature biosphere, it has proved impossible to sustain without cheating. You know, like the first time they tried with Biosphere 2, within 24 hours, they were trucking in emergency oxygen because the genie asses from the University Titty of received information, they didn't allow for the oxygen demands of the bacteria in the soil, and they'd filled the place with the best soil they could get. So it had lots of healthy bioorganic matter. It had lots of bacteria in the soil, and those soil bacteria, they breathe oxygen. And within 24 hours of closing the doors on Biosphere 1, everybody would have been dead if they hadn't brought in truckloads of liquid oxygen. We don't know how to live anywhere but here on Earth, and yet we have trashed the ecology of the biosphere of Earth. So, the Gaia hypothesis working through the Wuhan horseshoe bat and the bat eaters lament virus is trimming our numbers. Really, really fucking gently. It's going to be a 5-year process, and we're 8 months into it. 4 more years! 4 more years. And the excited status of Norte Americano is either going to re-elect Trumpy to fuck things up even more because a whole bunch of people are going to come out to vote and a whole bunch of other people can't be bothered and a whole bunch of other people are going to be too scared and they've just dismantled their postal system and they're busy rioting on the streets over whether white is prettier than black or something, I don't know. 4 more years. 4 more years. During which time travellers and tourists and strangers become zombies. Anybody who's been outside your immediate geographical area is, yeah, that's the prick who's going to sneeze on you and kill your whole family. That's where the zombies are. The travellers, the tourists, the traders, the people who move outside their home range. They are the zombies. 4 more years! What an interesting time to be alive, Mr. Chinese philosopher, whoever it was who cursed the earth, with that little quip of alleged ancestral wisdom. 4 more years. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. Ciao.